All right, so today what we're going to be talking about is the ZR1 style front lip that we installed on the C5 Corvette over the weekend. So I'd read all the internet forums and seen all the reviews where they talk about how the lip makes the car get hot, and especially if you don't leave the center air grabber underneath the car. And like most other people on earth, I thought, you know what, this isn't really going to happen to me. I know that happens to other people, but everything's going to be fine. So I ordered the lip, and it's the one that has the two like air holes over by where the brake duct are and no opening in the center. I put it on and it looks really good. Like, I really like the way it looks. It kind of filled out the look of the car the way I wanted it to. And I didn't really get to take the car for a drive on Sunday when I finished that up. So I got in the car on Monday to drive it to work, just to, you know, shake it down, see how things went. And the car was like totally normal, which my car kind of runs a little hot anyway. So I wasn't super scared or anything, but it ran around 220 degrees just on back roads heading towards the interstate. And it usually isn't there. It's usually around 195 or so. But I thought, you know what, 220 is not the worst. I know the fans come on at like 235 and everything's going to be okay. So I kept driving along. I was doing about 50 miles an hour until I got to the interstate. And when I went to merge onto the interstate, I kind of romped on it and it went up to, 228. And then as I got on the interstate and started doing about 70 miles an hour, it got to 230. And then after about 2 minutes to 70 miles an hour on the interstate, it went up to 235. And then I heard the high-speed fans kick on. And I just started thinking, man, I've never seen the car get this hot before. I drove to work and it kept hovering. As the high-speed fans would bring it down, it was hovering between 225 and 234 for the rest of my commute to work. And this is about 45 or 50 degrees out. So that seems really hot for such a cool kind of morning. So I'm at work and I'm doing a little bit of research and looking further, what do people do to solve this problem? And everybody's like, well, if I left the center piece in, then it's fine, which mine was in place. And I thought, well, man, there's got to be something going on with mine, right? So workday ends, I get in the car and I start driving home. Traffic's really bad. I'm not doing over 50 really. But about the time that I get about 10 miles from my house, the interstate opens up and I put my foot down, get up to the state legal speed limit here, which is 70 miles an hour. And the car starts going over 240. It goes to 244. And then it hit 252 and I pulled over because I'm thinking, man, this thing's about to start puking. So I pulled over on the side of the interstate, let the thing cool down back down to like 219 or whatever it did when I was sitting still. And I knew I had a serious problem. It's beyond just this lip being on there. I think I must have already had cooling problems and the lip has just exacerbated that situation. So what I did right after that, the car cooled down and I drove to a car wash. And I started spraying out the radiator from the front side, just seeing if whatever mud and stuff came out. A bunch of grass and mud and stuff came off of the radiator. So I thought, okay, well, I must have a really dirty space in between the condenser coil and the radiator. So I kind of limped the car home, and in my haste of trying to solve the problem, I decided I was going to drill a couple holes in the front of the lip as well. So I drilled some of those, and then I put the side pieces of the original lip back on, just to see if maybe that will help dam some air towards the centerpiece that pushes it up into the radiator. I don't think the lip is as big a problem as my car might make it seem. I think the lip just kind of highlighted the issues that my cooling system must have already had, because I see a lot of people in the forums that are saying, oh, you know, my car runs 190 or 195 or 200 at the worst, you know, 205, and my car's been a 220 runner ever since I've owned it. So I'm wondering if maybe the amount of stuff packed in the condenser and the radiator is affecting the cooling capacity more than I would have thought it would have. The car has a new water pump and a 160-degree thermostat on there, but none of that seems to be helping. So I'm pretty sure that if I clean out my radiator, I'm going to have a little bit better success. So I'm not really a big fan of the round holes that I drilled in kind of a very square shaped front lips. So I think I am going to have to replace the lip at some point. I'm going to see if I can roll around with it for a little while now that I've got the holes in it, and once I get my radiator cleaned out this weekend. I know that they're bottom feeders. You know, I did my research before and I thought, you know what, I'm going to be able to work around this. I think you could maybe extend that bottom scoop on the factory splitter there that's on the bottom side to feed into the radiator. I think you might be able to kind of beef that up a little bit to where it might grab a little more air. So for me, I don't think if cleaning out the radiator and the modifications I did to the lip don't solve the problem, then I think I'm going to go ahead and pull it off and use my pennies to purchase one of the ones that does have a scoop hole in the center. So it definitely made my radiator situation or my cooling capacity situation seem a lot worse. I did put some of the Hyper Cool, it's like a Duralube product in there. It's like similar to a water wetter. I didn't see any positive change from using that. I only spent like $130 on the lip, which for me doesn't seem like a lot of money. I don't mind the fact that I just cut it up and drilled holes in it and nonsense to try to make it work because I don't really care. But there is a big gap. I don't want a carbon fiber lip, and that's one of the other problems. I built the side skirts myself and I painted them satin. And then I put a black spoiler on the car. I really don't want a carbon fiber lip, and I don't want to have to paint over carbon fiber. I don't know, that just seems wrong to me. So I don't know what to do at this point because I can't find one of the lips that's not made out of fiberglass and not made out of carbon fiber that has that scoop in the center. So if you guys know of one that's out there, give me a shout, let me know. And I'll kind of, I'll show you some pictures of what the lip looks like on there. Anyway, I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate you listening to my rambling. I need to talk to somebody about this because, nobody else wants to hear me bitch about modifications that I put on my car. I'll see if it is better before I clean the radiator out over the weekend. And that way we can kind of shake down and figure out what I did that solved the cooling problem, if I'm able to solve it with that lip still being on the car. So stay tuned for that. Also, I don't think I'll have time this weekend, but next weekend, I'm going to be wrapping the hoop and the roof on the car with black vinyl. So that'll be my first time ever doing a wrap like that. I've done some vinyl application before, but I've never wrapped something. So you guys will be along for that as well. I appreciate you tuning in. And if you don't mind doing me a favor, hit the little subscribe button over there or check out one of my other videos up there. So I'll see you next time.